I want to preface this video by stating that by no means am I an expert in cryptocurrency or an economist. I do, however, find this type of subject very interesting, and I really wanted to do a video like this for a long time. With that being said, let's get right into the video.
Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey. Hey, hey, hey.
If you've ever been interested in Bitcoin, the cryptocurrency that keeps on giving as years go by, chances are you heard about the infamous Bitconnect Scam, or at least watched the videos of their annual 2017 ceremony. The video portrays a man by the name Carlos Matos, talking about his positive and unbelievable experience with the open source cryptocurrency known as Bitconnect, and the incredible amount of growth that his money seemed to be having on a daily basis. The video has been memed to hell and back, and pretty much every phrase used by Carlos is famous amongst the YouTube and cryptocurrency community, as it shows a delusional and somewhat naive man, excited about the way his life is turning, as he decided to invest all of his money into this new, seamlessly flawless opportunity. In order to better understand what exactly is Bitconnect and what was their business model, we first need to take a look at what a cryptocurrency is and how this relates back to the Bitconnect. For the purpose of this video, the crypto that we're going to analyze and explain is going to be the Bitcoin, as it was a cryptocurrency linked to the Bitconnect and their investment scam. A cryptocurrency is a form of electronic asset, digital money if you will, that can be used just as any other form of currency, with the exception that 1. Cryptocurrencies can only be used to make online payments and it's somewhat limited to where you can spend it, and 2. Cryptocurrencies have no physical counterpart, nor a central authority that regulates the money, just like the US dollar has the US Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve. To further explain this, in the case of the US dollar, the US Department of Treasury and the Federal Reserve are the entities responsible for keeping track of the money that is going around and making sure that not a single bill is being duplicated, hence the serial number that each bill has. These two entities are also in charge of knowing when to print more money, as the Federal Reserve is the one in charge of ordering the Department of Treasury when to print more money whenever they deem that necessary. When talking about online transactions, they rely on entities such as MasterCard or Visa in order to help them keep track of the money that has been spent and making sure that everyone stays on track and that the numbers make sense in the books, or logs, as each transaction is processed. Bitcoin, on the other hand, does not have a specific entity that you can point to in order to see the logs and movements of money of each individual, just like you could do with the banking history, electronic transactions, or even paper receipts of an everyday person. Bitcoin is not backed by any central authority, but instead relies on millions of computers around the world known as nodes. These nodes perform the same job as the Federal Reserve, Visa, and MasterCard. However, there are a few key differences. Unlike those central authorities, these nodes are spread out all over the world, and the record of transactions are open to the public, so anyone with an internet connection can see these logs. The way Bitcoin manages this information is by clumping together individual transactions into blocks. These blocks are later added to a public record called the blockchain. These blockchains are stored in order to verify transactions in the future. Now, contrary to popular belief, very few cryptocurrencies are anonymous. Most of them actually fall under the umbrella of pseudo-anonymity, as a few steps are necessary before making sure that the transactions you make on the internet are hardly linked to your real-life identity, Bitcoin being one of them. The specifics in this case are not relevant, so I will not get into those. Now, on to
What's up, Bitconnect?
Bitconnect launched their ICO, or initial coin offering, on November the 15th of 2016. But what is an ICO? Well, similar to an IPO, or initial public offering, let's say that you had a terrific idea to launch your own cryptocurrency. Let's call it Tacoin. See what I did there? Your cryptocurrency with the aim of helping people buy tacos off the deep web seems to be a great idea, and you genuinely want to move forward with it. However, you come to the realization that you need money in order to create your currency. Now, most startups will follow more or less the same route, and will try to aim for big sponsorships or investments from big companies or individuals with a large amount of capital. This will ultimately lead to said investors owning up to a slice of the ownership of the company. Enter an ICO. The way an ICO works is, You create the white paper of the cryptocurrency, and to put it simply, a white paper is a document that details exactly how the cryptocurrency would work. Of course, a white paper is much more complicated than this, but that is basically the backbone of it. Add to this a pretty website to explain and present your idea, and you can now start asking people to send you money, usually Bitcoin or Ether, and in return you send them back some Bitcoin instead of part of the ownership. People who do this sort of investment usually hope and wait for the new cryptocurrency to gain a lot of traction and use, and for the respective coins to gain much more value than their initial investment. There is one main issue that makes a world of a difference when comparing an ICO and an IPO, however. There are very small amounts of regulations for ICOs in America, which makes it one of the easiest venues to set up a scam. Add to this the level of anonymity or false personalities that people can create in order to hide themselves in the internet, and you're looking at a very high risk investment, especially nowadays that ICOs raise money by the millions. Bitconnect managed to raise 468 Bitcoin, worth around $410,000 at the time, which was about typical when it came to ICOs around that time. There was one irregularity, however. They had no white paper, and the team that was behind it were completely anonymous, and the one an unclear description of the crypto stated, Bitconnect Coin is an open source, peer-to-peer, community-driven, decentralized cryptocurrency that allows people to store and invest their wealth in a non-government controlled currency and even earn a substantial interest on investment. This means anyone holding Bitconnect Coin in their wallet will receive interest on their balance in return for helping maintain the security of the network. Now, this might be a little bit hard to understand, so let's put that into a scenario. This is similar to you hanging out on your computer one day and suddenly you get an email. You don't know who's sending the email, and the address and the names are hidden, but it's somehow got on your radar. The email you offers you the amazing opportunity to invest in a new restaurant that is not going to be regulated by any sort of governmental entity. It will be entirely run by the community that invests in it, and it promises to become the next McDonald's, or whatever your favorite food place is. The only thing that you have to do is send these people money, and as long as you keep your investment in, your money will keep on growing at an incredible rate. Now, you think to yourself, hey, this is pretty interesting. I might as well send them some money. However, before you take any risky actions, you ask this individual, hey, I just have one question. What food are you going to serve, and what is the business model going to be like? And the only response you get from them is an email saying, yeah, we don't know that yet. It sounds ridiculous, right?
No. That's a scam.
Well, apparently it did not sound ridiculous enough for around 1.5 million Americans who had the same explanation for Bitconnect, yet they decided it was a good idea to invest. You see, missing the white paper during an ICO is a huge red flag that should indicate that something is very wrong here. But let's give these people the benefit of the doubt, and let's say that at the moment it sounded amazing and not risky at all. Somehow. Around 3 weeks go by, and on December the 2nd, Bitconnect releases their official timeline, announcing 4 different phases from 2016 to 2017. Phase 1 was the announcement that the ICO marketing was already underway and that it will keep running until the end of December that same year. Part of the marketing campaign was a giveaway of 4.8 million Bitconnect coins for both the community and the investors. Phase 2 was scheduled for the first quarter of the following year and involved the launch of a Bitconnect wallet and a desktop client, basically a way of having your coins with you at all times and making profit from it. The purpose of this software was to allow for the staking and mining of the Bitconnect coins. To put it simply, staking is the act of locking cryptocurrencies to receive rewards or more of said cryptocurrency as a reward. And mining is a process by which individuals or miners gather together transactions into blocks and later add those blocks to the already mentioned blockchain. The process is much more complicated than that, but it leads to these miners generating more coins for themselves as well, kind of like a payment in the form of crypto. Phase 3 was scheduled for the second quarter of 2017, and during this phase, Bitconnect planned to push mining live and launch the staking pool. Bitconnect claimed that staking was a huge opportunity for investors, and that by simply staking your coins in the newly created wallet, you will get 120 return per year. 120% return per year. Phase 4 was scheduled for the third quarter of 2017, and it was planned to have the introduction of the smart card, essentially claiming that Bitconnect coins will be expendable with many different retailers, just like a regular debit or credit card. Now, here's where it gets extra scammy. In 2017, Bitconnect also launched their famous lending platform, and here is where the crypto started getting much more traction and attention. The way this lending platform will work was 1. You deposit your Bitcoin in a given Bitcoin address provided by Bitconnect. 2. Now, using the Bitcoin you just deposited, you would exchange it for Bitconnect coins. 3. You will now lend this Bitconnect coins for investments that a perfect and flawless bot would work on a daily basis. A perfect and flawless bot. And number 4, earn a daily profit and be happy and stuff. Not only this, but the Bitconnect website started promising investors over 480% returns per year in US dollars and a guaranteed profit of 91%, and actively told investors that it was a one-way bet with no financial risk at all. To put it into perspective, a return of 5 to 10% per year is considered a solid return. 5 to 10%, and these scumbags are promising almost 100 times that. In addition to that, and going back to the magical all-seeing bot, no proper evidence was ever showed that the trading bot actually existed. People just accepted it without a question.
Hey, so we have a bot.
Here, take my money, take my card, take my wife, for God's sake. Now, let's go to actual investment amounts just to give you a good look at how this would supposedly work. The monthly return of your money would always depend on the amount of your initial investment, and it will go on a block as the following. Depending on the amount of money you invested, the daily interest paid will change. However, the volatile software interest was always going to be 40% per month, as the bot was supposedly flawless, and total yearly returns was 480%. In addition to this, you will not get a daily interest pay unless you invested over $1,000. Also, the amount of time that you would have to wait before getting your capital back will be depending on the amount of your investment. The more you invested, the less time you'll have to wait. To put it simply, monthly return equals the volatile software interest plus the daily interest. Now, what would this look like in real life? Well, you started off with an investment of $10,010 and left the money there to grow for 10 years and not making any money from any of the other lucrative options to do that the company offered. More on that later. You will end up with $92 million. You will be up there with the likes of 1 year worth of checks for Neymar, LeBron James, Dwayne Johnson, and Ellen DeGeneres. Although if you ask me, I'd rather live under a rock than hanging out with Ellen privileged ass. And yes, the people I just mentioned make around $90 million yearly, which is just stupid, but I digress. Remember the other lucrative options to make even more idiotic amounts of money? Well, here's where Bitconnect opened up a highly lucrative and oddly pyramidal referral system. Sounds familiar? Here's how that model will work. The referral program was designed to provide 7 levels of earning potential, multi-levels if you will, and you will earn commission every time your referrals lend Bitconnect coins on the platform. Not only this, but your commission of each referral level was based on their initial investment. The first level will make you 7% of their investment, the second 3%, the third 1%, and so on. Despite all these red flags and many more, such as the spelling and English errors in so many of their announcements, Bitconnect value kept on growing more and more. But how? Well, remember the all magical Illuminati bot that could do no wrong? Here's how it actually worked. Investors will hand over their Bitcoins to Bitconnect in order for these to be exchanged for US dollars and for these dollars to be invested in God knows what. However, we now know that was not true at all. What really ended up happening was that Bitcoins will be exchanged to Bitconnect and these people would just sit on them and not really do anything with them. In return, this kept reducing the amount of Bitconnect coins in circulation as more and more people were attracted to the scheme. And if you know anything about supply and demand, you know where this is going. The ever increasing demand and the smaller amount of coins led to an incredible inflation in prices, making it seem like every one coin was growing in value. In addition to this, they had also told investors of the huge opportunity that came with the stakes of their coins, basically reducing even more the amount of coins in the market. Eventually, the interest payments outweighed the price of the coins, and the huge bubble that was Bitconnect finally popped. The scam begins to fall apart. On the 7th of January 2018, Bitconnect market was at an all-time high, valued at around $2.6 billion, with each coin being traded at around $432 each. Suddenly, the coin started to go into freefall. By January 15, prices had dropped to $290 per coin, and Bitconnect holders had lost 33% of the US dollar value of the coin in just 1 week. The following day, Bitconnect announced to the world that they will be closing down the lending platform, and the exchange was shut down 5 days later. That's when people began realizing what was happening. You see, the crew behind Bitconnect had gotten to the point where they were in possession of around 85% of all the coins in the market. When the prices reached an all-time high, they began offloading their coins into the market and taking all the profits with them. As a result of this, Bitconnect had a fall of 90% of price value in just 4 days, going from $290 to $25.91. The official reasons for the shutdown, according to the Mother Teresa behind Bitconnect? Well, bad press, a cease and desist by the US, although this actually came from the UK, and DDoS attacks. DDoS attacks are basically people floating out the system very often and making it impossible to work properly. The aftermath of this was the complete Bitconnect crew disappearing into thin air, with an estimate of around $1.5 billion, a bunch of interesting threads on Reddit, a whole bunch of videos on YouTube to lift you up your mood in the worst of your days, and, well, that's pretty much it. Oh, and one of the 2 heads of the project was arrested in India 2 years ago. So, there's that at least. So people, if you having any money issues, I'm gonna leave a link in the description to sign up with my Herbalife account. Please remember, stay safe, stay healthy, and remember, we can all become millionaires one day, one payment at a time. Thank you, and have a good day.